Hey, welcome back everybody. Today, after a long busy weekend, like today is Sunday and weekend is about to come to an end. Tomorrow is week 5 back to my university semester. But once again, I'm doing another brilliant.org educational video recording once again. So as you can see, programming and CS speak the language of computers, something what I want to continue for today. So the chapter is called Functions in Python. Like I have to return doing some of the computing functions work, so I'll give you something interesting, motivating, and stimulating. So I'll do that exercise right here. So I'll click on the pointer right now. Click on it, shall we? Yes, functions in Python, and its objective is to write Python programs with functions, the building blocks of scalable software. So previously I've done indexing strings, the one I've already recorded a video in the past few weeks, and now the exercise topic is called functions, is what I'm going to work out today. So kind of demonstration, displayed all of you what each exercise I'm going to encounter step by step, phase by phase, for example. Right, so I'll click start to begin it. Wait a second. Right, here we go. So the first one here I'm encountering is simply decode the message. Let's read message. This one, penguins at x heights. Oh, x heights means wait for letter in message, right? So if letter is x, then e, else letter. I think that should be the right execution. Let's check right now. Wait. Wait, I think I better start over to run it again. So here, letter in message, if letter X then hides E, so E will replace it, else letter still will print. Let's check. I'll click it once more. Oh yes, that's finally correct. Like sorry for the long interruption cause this program hadn't been executed properly, so like run it once more simply works. Anyway, let's click on while for reasoning. Yes, loop iterates through each letter in message. So letter in message line 4. When letter equals X, program prints E to replace the hidden letter. Yeah, X hides E, so E will take it over. Otherwise, it prints the original letter. Other letters in the code remain unchanged, right? I'll close it. Just simple beginner execution to get started. So what the clue tells you how to execute program with some changes and modifications right now. So I'll click continue, by the way. Okay, here again is to decode the message. Let's read. Yeah, the clue says every other letter is noise and X hides E. Oh yes, I is 0. Why so this one? And then messages I, XE, letter NE. So what's it say? Like letter N equals X hides C. I think simply +1. Right, let's check. Oh yes, program isn't decoding message correctly. So OXY is not correct. Let's try it again. I think this one like. So let's try this option and execute it. Oh yes, hide the sardines. This is finally correct now. Like that last line execution is wrong, but now I get it right. Let's click on Y. Yes, while loop the conditions I less than message loop while there are characters remaining. So just keep executing like looping. Program use message I that index position to got each letter increments by 2. I plus or equals 2 to skip the noise letters. Oh yeah. It should be like increments by 2 mean like noise letters highlight X H O D O will be hidden. That's close. It should be like H I D E. Noise like Y O will be hidden. Sorry. Didn't know like plus minus 2 works here. Alright. Anyway, let's click continue. Let's see. What's similar about these two programs? So that these two, which one is correct? Of course, they use the same logic for replacing X, doesn't it? So these lines remain the same. Function, execution, both every time. So I'll check. Of course it's correct. Let's click on why. Yes, both programs check if letter equals to X and print E if true, or print the original letter otherwise. Replacement logic is identical. Yes, simple explanation that I've just demonstrated, so very easy to encounter this one, isn't it? Continue. Yes, instead of repeating commands, we can write a function that decodes a single character. Alternatively, it can be written here as well. If character equals X, return E, else return character. So as a recap, a function takes an input value here and returns an output value switch to here. X is E, input output other remain unchanged. Right. Kind of something you should better watch out when you perform these executions in Python, like kind of repetitive functions. Continue. Now, define a function that returns E when the input character is X and otherwise returns the input value. So this final function, I'll try to get something right again. So wait, def, yes, decode character. If character is X, return E, else return character, right? So for print, will all print it out. Let's check it to see whether I get it right or wrong. Of course, that's correct. Let's click on why for reasoning. That's right. Explanation tells us that line 1 defines decode letter with an input in parentheses. When letter equals X, it returns E as output. Otherwise, it returns the original letter. Sorry, like this brief statement is wrong. Actually, it should be character, so that decode and then return the same character or different one depending on whether one has performed the function, so on. Input parentheses, yes. Letter character doesn't matter which string function is obtained or attached. Anyway, let's move on by clicking on continue. Here, to use the function, it has to be called. Call the function using the inputs of X, W, and E. Here. In that order, right? So, firstly, decode X, and then W, finally E. Let's check it. Of course, that's correct. Let's click Y. That's right. Explanation simply tells us that the program calls decode with each input, decode X, decode W, and decode E, right? So it should be in that correct order. So no mistake for me. So simple explanation here, but continue to see what's coming next. Yes, here again, use a function to decode the message. X1, X3, that's the message, def code character, XE, for, yes, letter and message, so print that overall, right? Decode letter, I guess. It should run again. Let's check. Of course, that's correct. Let's click on why once again. The program loops through each letter in message, then calls decode letter to transform each letter. Of course, like letter in message, only decode that letter, so this line 4 to 8 will run repeatedly like letters looping through step by step one, transforming this message to the desired output. So from this to this correct output, which has to be executed very effectively, right? So what you think about this? Also, comment down below if you have any opinions about this. Continue. Okay. Once again, use a function to decode the message. Here, every other letter is noise. X hides E. Oh yes, like increment by 2. Didn't know like question has been given, but I'll stay on track with this. Def code character XE. Yes, they all the same thing. Different. Why this? So letter message I, print decode letter. Right? Let's check. Of course, that's simply correct. Let's click on why again. Yes, explanation, as you can see on the screen, it tells us that why condition I less than message, how many characters remaining, makes the loop run while characters remain. The program uses message bracket I, that index number, to get each letter there, then calls decode letter to transport it before printing. Decoding like the line 11 to 13 will function only if this line 4 and 8 has been typed in, written accurately and effectively. So from this to this decoding, like y to the number of characters remaining, has to be executed from time to time, like a bit of repetition, to be honest. Anyway, I'll click continue. Yes, here's like kind of brief recap statement written here. You use a function to decode messages. Functions help transform data and break problems into parts. So like line 3 to 7, that is used to execution running, and then like print 12, decode letter, line 12, just print this, so this will also run, execute properly. As you can see, this machine like transform data, break problems, so kind of back and forth problems here. Continue next. All right, finally it's time for a skill check. So as usual, 3 different questions I'm going to encounter in this tab, so I think it's good time to get started. So shall we? I'll click continue to see the first question to be encountered. All right. Question number 1. Yes, complete the missing output. That's very simple problem to get encountered. So X is replaced by E. So input X, output is E. Right? Check it. Of course, it's correct. Why for reasoning? That's simply right. Explanation tells us that when the input character is X, line 3 runs. Yeah, so decode returns E. X to be replaced by E. Simple input to output transformation. Alright, simple one to get started, but I'm not going to repeat that anymore. Anyway, continue to the next. Question number 2. Here, what I'm going to encounter is, oh, what is wrong with this function? It should return E when the input is X. Otherwise, it should return the input value. Of course, here, X, then return E, else return. Oh yeah, here is probably something's missing link connection to fulfill the desired instructions. Input is X, unless the input is X. Oh yeah, return a value, not return a value unless the input is X. That should be correct. Let's check. Of course, correct. Why for reasoning? Yes, input is not X. The else branch runs. However, line 5 returns without any particular values. Like instead of returning the input character. Oh yeah, return what? So like missing information. Like I'm probably going to fix it in the next one. Right? Continue. Here, find a problem to encounter. Well, you can see like I must fix the following function. It should return E when the input is X. Otherwise, it should return the input value. Yes, so like message already given, the clue as well. Define the code, X return E. That's correct. So else return character, right? So like line 10 to 14 is already given, like white len, letter, message, index, bring that decode to letter, increment by 2. All of these remain unchanged. Only these two to be fixed. Yes, let's check it now. Of course, that's simply correct. Once again, let's click Y for reasoning. Yes, explanation which simply tells us that only line to be fixed and corrected is line 8 here. When the input character is X, the function returns E. That's already correct. Otherwise, it returns the original input called character. So line 8 return what that character is simply the answer, just effectively fixed, and now execution and running that final piece of Python function is complete. So I'll close this, and yes, you can see 3 skill test questions I've successfully encountered and answered them correctly. Now, why not conclude this session by clicking on this finish tab? So I'll click on it now. Yes, lesson complete. So as a result of this completion, I've gained 170 XP this time around. Continue. Boom. 3 days makes a trend. So since returning to Brilliant.org activities on Friday here, then yesterday, Saturday, today, Sunday makes 3 consecutive days in a row. So this perfect lightning bolt with number 3 is something special that you've just displayed on this Brilliant.org recording screen, right? So what does make you feel like? Also, comment down below to let your opinions realize how this has impressed you or someone else. Anyway, continue. No, it's better in the app. Like over 95% of mobile learners prefer it with the QR code. Scan below to download now. Not necessarily needed for me, right? So continue.
Mistake.
Sorry. Once again, another stupid interruption. Like personalized ads, they just keep repeatedly appearing on my Brilliant.org free account recording here. So sorry for any inconvenience that might also interrupt you as well. So, but you just have to watch it for a while. But anyway, here, level up your learning with premium, but I'm not focusing on that, so remind me later. Wait a moment. Alright, there we have it. Functions in Python. I've just completed today's chapter exercise functions, and the subsequent next chapter is called calling functions, but that's not what I'm going to focus now, because one recording each exercise chapter is simply enough. So that's it all for this today's educational recording video that I've created and demonstrated to all of you. Thank you very much for watching, and if you do enjoy watching this, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel called Rooney Lin for more other educational recording videos, as well as my favorite ones are also involved, like from gaming to Gmorgal videos. Like I just keep watching these because they just make me feel motivated, right? But I'll still keep engaged and record these educational videos here online to all of you in the future. So just stay on the track and don't miss out for the next one if I had to plan it in advance. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Cheers. Bye for now.